Hey everyone, today we're gonna be doing a Q&A / cook with me video. It's gonna be kind of a combo platter. In the past, I've done a few cook with me videos. There have been many adventures, some good, some not so good, some straight abominations. Oh,
it worked!
Oh! I've got the wrong thing. It's saying burn. Wait. Cancel. Cancel, 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 cancel. I'm terrified. But it's always been interesting and you guys have really liked it. So today we're doing another one. We're doing something new yet again. I'm gonna be cooking a recipe from Home Chef. So big thank you to Home Chef for sponsoring this video. They are a home delivery meal subscription service. So that just means that you get recipes and all the ingredients for the recipes sent to your house every week or however you space it out. You go online, they have a bunch of recipes as options. You select which ones you want. You can get whatever amount of servings that you want for however many people you're feeding in your house. And it's just super easy to use. I picked a few recipes for this week, and today I'm going to be cooking one of them with you. I'm also going to have a link in the description down here, so you can click that link, learn a whole lot more about Home Chef, and also get money off if you decide to try it out. Now, for the Q&A portion of the video, I'm going to have a lovely assistant joining me, Mr. Grantaroni, my husband.
Hello.
If you've never met him before, he's on my vlog channel all the time and he's been in a few videos with me. I definitely appreciate the enthusiasm. So we're gonna cook and we're gonna answer questions along the way, but I kind of have a feeling we're gonna have too many questions, so we might be eating and answering questions after.
Yeah, we have over 600 questions to answer.
I posted on Instagram, so we got a lot of really great questions. Thank you to everyone on Instagram. There were some repeats though. We will discuss it.
Do you wanna tell them what we're cooking today?
I guess so. We're gonna be making Baja fish tacos. They look pretty good and I'm already really hungry. So let's get to cooking.
Let's do it. But first, I think you're a little underdressed for this. So I think you need to, all right.
I don't know if I wanna wear the hat.
I
don't know about this, dude.
Sort of.
I don't want it.
You're gonna love it.
No!
How's that? Beautiful.
I don't wanna wear the hat, but I'm gonna start cooking.
Womp, womp, womp.
I'm gonna get my hair in the food.
Perfect.
I won't charge you.
Extra conditioner.
Like I said, we've got all the ingredients in here in our little bag, and we have all of our instructions plus pictures, which is very necessary for me.
Key.
There has to be at least a picture of like the end result for me.
Yeah.
I wanna know what it's supposed to look like. Ready? Okay, so I'm gonna get started on this recipe and Grant is gonna start picking questions. We actually went through them last night and I decided to be kind of crazy as usual. And I printed out all the questions so we could pick them together.
All right, are you ready for your first question?
It's our first question.
Are you ready for our first question?
I don't know.
So what marriage advice did you receive that you have found you really appreciated and have found helpful so far?
Okay, for me, the most memorable piece of advice and the main one that I remember, because I don't know, do we even get that much advice?
I didn't.
No one gave Grant any advice, but I did pass along this piece of advice that my mom told me. So my mom said, when you find yourself in an argument or you're not getting along, the biggest reason that you can almost always trace it back to is wanting your own way. So it's pretty much everything kind of boils down to selfishness. And if you look at yourself in an argument or whatever, and something's not going right and you're just not fitting, if you go back and you look at what you did to bring yourself there and how it could be that you're just being selfish, it makes it a whole lot easier to get over it. So
yeah,
I think that's been helpful and it's definitely been very true, at least for me.
it is very true.
It really just simplifies everything, I think, where you can see the bigger picture very easily.
I agree. I think that that's the best piece of advice, of the limited advice we've received. Oh, this was an interesting one I wanted to do. If you could pick a different career for each other, what would it be?
I don't know, maybe like an
video editor?
That's a really good idea. Yeah, but I was thinking something more like an astronaut or something. Something cool. Where you're, I don't know, maybe like on a team, but also doing something that's very science focused, but somehow also flying something. Maybe a boat captain.
A boat captain. I would pick for you to be a lawyer.
That's a good idea.
I think that you would be really, really good at that.
Why do you say that?
You're very tenacious. You have a very good sense of right and wrong, and I just think that you would really fight for people. You don't take things lying down. You don't take no for an answer. I think you would really be good. I think you would be a real asset.
Yeah, I never considered that.
I think you could do it.
Maybe it's my next career.
Yeah.
Let me know down below, do you think I could be a lawyer?
LeighAnn says, you're guilty.
LeighAnn says, electric chair. We got a couple questions down and only one step of the cooking process done. Okay, so we're gonna switch and I'm gonna get to pick a question.
Ooh.
Okay, this was another question we got a bunch of different times. Do you see benefits from premarital counseling and was it worth doing? I think it was worth doing. I think partially because we were long distance. We'd never done any kind of counseling as a couple before. We did cover all of those typical like premarital counseling kind of talks, but at the same time, they were things that we had talked about separately together. It just kind of adds something to have another person there joining in the conversation and kind of like guiding it. You know what I mean?
I think the premarital counseling was a great choice, and I think that I would recommend it for everybody.
But I also think that it kind of introduced the idea of doing couples counseling to us really early on, and so going back to it definitely wouldn't be hard. And we've actually talked about trying it again, maybe not going back to the same person, but maybe doing like maybe a monthly check-in or something like that. And we haven't done that yet, but we have talked about it. And I do think doing that early on sort of, I don't know, it gives you kind of like a happy association with that kind of thing. I feel like if you were in a relationship and you were having problems and you're like, I feel like we need to go to counseling, and you'd never done any kind of counseling with anybody before in your relationship, it might have like a really heavy feeling and you might be more hesitant to get into it.
I think continuing to do it is also a proactive thing to sort of address issues as they come up and don't let them accumulate. Mm-hmm. And it just keeps you in a better place. Ooh, I'm getting hungry. Love a good slaw.
Okay, while I'm working on the slaw, Grant's gonna start with the batter for the fish.
We like it hot.
We like it hot.
We like it hot.
How's that look?
Ooh, that looks tasty.
I've never fried fish before.
Ooh, girl.
What?
Your mom's gonna be proud.
Mama. Okay, so now we're finally to the step. We've got our fish done. I think it looks beautiful. Grant tasted one, burned his mouth off, but it's good. It worked out really well. I think it was a success. And now we can finally put our tacos together.
Perfect.
It's a real meal made by Chef LeighAnn. And no one else. Okay, I think this was a major success. I'm very ready to eat it, but I just had to show you how good this looks. Ooh. Okay, we're ready. This is the moment of truth. It's finally time for a taste test. This is a lot of food.
It looks real good though.
Dink.
That's really good.
You know what's the worst part about this?
Shouldn't sound like me.
Now we have to answer questions with tortillas in our teeth. So now we're gonna try to eat and answer even more questions, which is probably gonna be equally challenging, but there are a lot of good questions here, so we're gonna try to do it. And I'm sorry if we have tortilla in our teeth the entire time, but this is really good and I'm hungry. So we're gonna try to do both, and this just turned into a mukbang. Is it mukbang or mukbang? Stack of questions. I feel like a reporter. Okay, here's one that is mostly just for you. And we got this one in a bunch of different ways, so I definitely wanted to ask this one. What are Grant's true feelings about YouTube? It also, other people also said, like, how do you feel about vlogging? What was your reaction when I first told you? Which I actually kind of don't remember the moment I first told you about YouTube.
Well,
so that's just like kind of 5 questions in one.
You first told me like before we had even met about YouTube. But I don't think I knew about the vlogging until we started going out. I think we were going out to a concert and something, you started kind of recording. It was just you, like I wasn't really in it.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
No, what are your true feelings?
My true feelings are, I think I see a lot of videos out there of people crying, being upset about vlogging, about the pressure of videos. So I think it puts a lot of pressure on people. But I think that your fan base is always very respectful.
Yeah.
And you're very lucky. I think a lot of people, it's because they have like a disrespectful fan base who, you know.
Bad boundaries.
Yeah, bad boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think without that, it would be really hard.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so I asked him this question. I was like, when did I even tell you? I don't remember that moment. And he said he found out about it whenever I finally shared my Instagram with him. And that was something that I didn't really do, because I think you can connect your account with your Instagram. So it's just kind of like way more pictures and just sharing a lot about yourself up front. But if I connected my Instagram, that would also be connecting them to my YouTube, and it would kind of like spoil my first impression. I think you might have asked to see my Instagram, and I was just like, I don't really want to go there.
I asked a couple times because you kind of, you know, you see this like gorgeous 10 out of 10 girl that you're talking to online, and I mean, people have been catfished before. You know, you kind of get a sense of kind of like, especially when somebody's like, oh, I don't want to share that with you. You're kind of like, wait, what? Why? And they're like, I don't want to tell you why. And you're like, whoa.
It's hard to explain. I don't know how I worked around that, but I would always kind of avoid like showing the Instagram or social media. I'd rather meet someone in real life before they meet me on YouTube, you know what I mean? But we had already talked about it, and I was like, I don't want it to spoil my first impression. And so he says that he didn't really look at a lot of my videos beforehand, before we met. And I would say if it were me in his shoes, I would have totally like watched all the videos. I don't know how you could resist.
I didn't want it to spoil your first impression.
That's
so I was
very
respectful of
respectful.
that. And at the time, YouTube was something I watched maybe movie trailers on there. I didn't know there was anything going on YouTube.
Here's another one. Somebody said, like, they asked, how did you feel about me putting my life out there, you know, to some degree, and then by you being in my life, you're kind of out there too, just by association. Mm-hmm. Like, did you ever think like, oh, I don't know? No,
it's never really had like a day-to-day impact on my life.
Because I eased you in real slow. He didn't even know
what was
happening.
Like a baby into a bathtub.
I do feel like I really, really do my best to have boundaries and to respect your boundaries and to try to like look at what I'm doing and know how that will like reflect on you, how that will make you feel. Mm-hmm. And you know, you want to think about the future. Like, of course, when you're on YouTube doing the most dramatic thing or doing the craziest stunt, just having drama and all that, it actually does help you. It gets you a lot more attention, a lot more views, all of that. But there are consequences, long-term consequences, because it's the internet. It's not going away. And if you build your whole YouTube presence or career or channel off of drama, I mean, that's kind of something that's a vicious cycle. You can't just stop. You can't say, oh, well, I got all my subscribers because I'm a super dramatic person, and then now I'm just going to be normal and have a happy life. Like, people are not going to be interested in that. Okay, so I feel like we could go on and on and on forever about that question. Let's take a bite. I'm like so sad we're just sitting here with this food in front of us. I'm gonna finish this one before we go to our next question.
Affection.
I don't know how people do mukbangs. Like, how?
I don't know. Okay, so the next question is, do y'all plan on getting another baby anytime soon? Do you want to address this?
Sometimes I do think about it. Like the other day I was like, can we get another Luna? Just because I love her so much. She's just my favorite little creature on earth. Mm-hmm. But Luna is enough for us. Our house isn't the biggest house in the world. We don't have a big backyard. Really, I think we're maxed out. Sometimes I would love to have another dog, but I don't think we need one at all.
Not right now.
I go back and forth a little bit on wanting another dog. But I don't think Grant ever goes back and forth. I think he's good on dogs.
We're good. We're good.
Sometimes I want one real bad though.
Wasn't that like yesterday?
That was like yesterday, yes. Do your best impression of each other. Can you do an impression of me?
I think so.
That was crazy how you just stopped laughing that quickly.
I think so.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Hi guys, it's Leanne. We're just here to do a little makeup today. Thanks, love you. Bye.
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 That's exactly how I sound. I'm really flattered. Thank you so much.
All right, let's see yours.
Whenever he's helping me vlog or if he's holding the camera at any time and he's trying to be quiet, he just breathes really deeply through his nose. So it's kind of like... But I can always hear it when I'm editing the vlog over anything else.
My signature move.
Very
my
helpful.
calling card.
Okay, what's next? I'd love more couples to talk about how they share finances and responsibilities. It's so interesting to hear about how modern couples live together and pay for things. Do you want to explain the finances part?
So the way we do finances is we have joint checking and savings accounts that my paycheck goes directly into, and then Leanne pays herself into from her small business YouTube account.
Small business YouTube account. And then we both contribute into our savings accounts. And right now we have 3. We have a house fund, we have an emergency fund, and then we have kind of like a general one, which would be like fun, vacation, gifts, like other things.
Right.
And we're still really figuring all that stuff out still. We talked about it a lot before we got married and tried to plan ahead and anticipate everything. But really, I think it just takes getting going to actually figure it out.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, it would be really hard to keep everything separate.
Yeah, it really would
recommend that.
Yeah.
And then as far as like responsibilities go, we've kind of just sort of divided up the chores.
Mm-hmm.
Like Leanne does laundry, I take out the trash. That's something we have figured out.
Yeah. Believe it or not, at one point we did have an argument about me doing laundry because I felt like it was most efficient for me to just do all of our laundry once a week. And there kept being times throughout the week where Grant would be like, I'm going to do some laundry. Is there anything you don't want me to put like in the dryer? And I'm pretty particular about like putting different things in with other things, about what I want dried and what I don't want dried. And it's much easier for me to just do my own laundry or just generally do laundry. And it's not that I'm like being controlling. I'm just thinking like rather than us do our laundry separately, because Grant just kind of throws it all in generally. And I don't really do my laundry like that. So I just think like, you know, rather than us both working on something at different times, I'll just do it. And I had to really explain that to him. Just like, come on, this is efficient. Let me do your laundry. It's not that hard.
Yeah, when you explain it like that.
They're like,
I dropped it.
I'm doing a favor for you. And he was like, oh, okay.
Like, I don't like favors.
I want to do everything
I
myself.
have to struggle.
Okay, so there was one question that we definitely got about 100 million times. I understand you guys are just curious and you care about us and you want to know about our little family. And over again, you guys asked, when are we having babies? What are our plans? Are we gonna have kids? What's the timeline? All of that. And there were some people that stood up for us and they're like, this is a really insensitive question, especially to ask 1,000 times. And I mean, I'm not taking it like that. I'm totally fine with you guys being curious, especially when I'm asking for you guys to ask us questions. But at the same time, I do want to say, just generally on the internet and in real life, it might not be the nicest thing to just ask somebody when they're gonna have kids, because you don't know the situation and you want to be sensitive. And but in my situation, I have shared in the past, I have PCOS. So for us, there will be maybe a bit of a process once we're ready to have a baby. But I've been looking into that stuff and I started seeing a doctor even before we got married because I just want to be ready. Like, I don't want to wait until we're ready to have a baby to start figuring it out. I want to start working on that as soon as I can. And I have been working on that. And we don't have a concrete timeline so far.
No. We'll let you know.
Grant is not giving anything away. We were initially kind of thinking, you know, within the first 2 years, I guess, to start trying.
Yeah.
But so many times, I'd say, other than the advice that we mentioned at the very beginning, over and over and over again, when people found out that either we were getting married or I just got married, they said, wait to have kids.
Yeah.
Like, wait to have babies, wait a few years, wait a couple years, over and over again. Like, strangers, doctors, anybody and everybody repeated that over. Have people told you that?
Yeah.
People have said that to me.
Don't rush.
Yeah, don't rush into having kids. And I mean, obviously, we got married later than, I don't know, I guess some people. I think we're a little later than the average at this point, but I don't feel rushed.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah. So that's kind of the general answer to that question. We don't have a firm answer, and it's a little bit out of our hands, but it's a little bit out of everybody's hands, you know? I just want to answer all these questions. I like talking to you.
Oh, I'm going to steal this taco. I'll keep it tacoing.
Okay. Does Grant think you have a shopping addiction? Not being mean. Men just have different standards for these things in general.
No, I don't think you have a shopping addiction.
Grant likes to shop just as much as I do. And that is an amazing thing about our relationship. And
I probably have more of a problem than you do.
Oh, I really like this one too. Who fell in love first and who said I love you first? I thought this was a funny question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I would say I fell in love first. Saying
True.
that, you're saying that so sure. What do you mean?
And then I said I love you first.
Yeah.
Because I knew you were gonna wait. You
Yeah.
want the guy to make that first move.
Yeah.
Which I think is the right thing to do.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I don't think it's like there is a right way or a wrong way or girls should wait or anything like that. But with the way that we started our relationship, we could make a movie about like us getting together because it was a little dramatic, or at least for me it was. I was like in turmoil because I was so into him. We got together, we met each other, we started hanging out, and I was like, I am into this, and we were getting along so well and everything. And then he was going more slow, and so I kind of started to take a step back, and I was still like, you know, dating other people because we weren't serious or anything.
Right.
And eventually it did start getting more and more serious.
Yes.
But I was still kind of like keeping my options open because I didn't want to get too invested because I felt like you weren't invested. It was kind of crazy. But we both got to that point where we didn't want to be with anybody else.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. And like, I can still remember very vividly. I mean, of course I can still remember the night that you said, I love you. And I was just like, like fireworks in my brain. I was so happy. I was like, we finally made it. Like, it was all I wanted. I was just so happy.
And then I said it and you didn't say anything.
I said something. I said it back. I did say it back.
There was a long pause.
Because I was like having a dance party in my head. I was so happy. I don't remember pausing for a long time, but I was so happy. That just like made my life. You have no idea. Every time you would text me, like, especially when we were kind of like back and forth a little bit. Not that we were like off and on.
Yeah,
it went slow at the beginning,
right.
you know, and I was kind of unsure, like, are we going to do this? Are we not? And he would text me. I'd be like, ah! Like so excited. And yeah, it's like it just happened yesterday. Like, I remember that so vividly. There are just so many good questions, and I feel like we could stop here because probably the video is already too long, but I want to answer them all. Okay, so this one is about Grant's job, which I also talked about in the assumptions video. What made Grant decide to become a doctor, which I feel like that's just, you just wanted to be. You just wanted to be one.
Yeah.
First started dating, did that idea freak either of you out? Especially at the beginning of his career, it would be very demanding. You wouldn't have a lot of time together, or was it easier because you were already long distance? This is a lot of questions. This is something that, yes, I was very nervous about going into it. Like when we first started dating, I really didn't know a lot about it. I didn't know what to expect. And obviously I didn't know that we were gonna get married. I didn't know what was coming, but he was doing his residency in Houston. And I would definitely say at the job you're at now, the residency was more demanding.
Yeah.
So this is actually way easier than I anticipated it being. Mm-hmm. At least from what I know, it really depends on what job you take, how demanding it is, what the hours are like, and how much you're on call, how much you have to be away, and all of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Not too common to find a job where it says predictable and is as sort of a controlled environment.
Grant did an amazing job at picking a career path before he met me. And then whenever we were shopping around, doing interviews, looking at different job opportunities, it was important to me that he look at, you know, what the demands were going to be. Like, was this a practice that was just like really ramping up, and he was going to be expected to be there late every night, working every weekend and all that? Because I mean, it's not just for me, because obviously I want him to do what makes him happy, and I want him to do what he's been working to do for so many years. But I think about, like, you know, us having a family one day, and so you know, I don't want him to miss out on that stuff. It's not just that I'm selfish and I want him around me all the time, even though I do.
That's sweet.
That's creepy and sweet.
That's sweet. I think it's sweet. All right, Miss LeighAnn.
No, wait, I think we should do the long distance question.
Okay, then that's it.
Okay, that's it. Okay, Grant is done with this video. You've been a very good sport, though. Thumbs up for Grant being a good sport through this video, please. He's never gonna wanna be in another video again. Okay, so did your long distance relationship make your relationship stronger? Do you feel that if you didn't have that time apart, you would be in a different point in your relationship? I think this is a really interesting question because the whole year before us getting married, we were living across the country from each other. And while we did get to visit each other a lot, probably more than most long distance relationships, it was really hard, or I definitely felt it. It was really hard on me and I hated it. And even going into it, I knew I was gonna hate it. It was not a surprise that I hated it. Long distance is not for me. I don't like it. No.
I think that it did make our relationship stronger because we used to talk on the phone or like video chat or something like 3 to 4 hours every night, like 7 days a week.
It wasn't 3 hours every day. It was definitely over an hour every day, I would say.
It has to be an average of 2 hours.
Probably, yeah.
Visiting all the time. I mean, it's still very hard, but I think that there was a lot more, I don't know, communication and talking and stuff.
Just because you can't be physically close, like you just talk so much more. And I definitely needed that. And I was so happy that we both made the time to do that. Yeah. And it did make us closer in a way, even though it kind of pushed us apart in a way. So yeah, it's hard to know where we'd be if we didn't have that year. So I'm thankful for it just because I know where we are now and I like where we are now, you know. But that's a very interesting question. But Grant is really done with this video. Well, he's hitting a wall.
The camera's done with this video.
The camera is also very done. I feel like I could answer these questions forever. It's so much fun. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Home Chef for sponsoring this video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can see all my new videos. Hit the bell for notifications. You can also find me on social media. It's LeighAnnSays everywhere. Grant takes all my pictures on Instagram. I'm trying to make him an Instagram husband and it's working.
It's working.
You can do it too.
We'll see you guys next time.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Video's canceled.
It's called LeighAnnSays. LeighAnnSays she don't want to wear that hat. Before you really knew him, what was the initial thing that attracted you to him?
That's on record.
Bonjour, bonjour.